Naomi Carter stood in her small kitchen, staring at her phone like it had just slapped her. She read the message again and again, trying to believe it wasn't real. Her older sister Vanessa had sent only one short line. "It's a child-free event. I don't think your kids fit the tone of the wedding." The words felt cold, sharp, final. Behind Naomi, her children Eli and Maya sat at the table eating cereal. They were giggling about who could make the biggest milk mustache. Their laughter filled the room, warm and sweet, but it stabbed Naomi at the same time. They had no idea that their own aunt had just called them wrong. Not good enough. Not welcome. Naomi held the counter because she suddenly felt weak. Tonight was the wedding. Not next month. Not next week. Tonight. And this wasn't some small backyard wedding. Vanessa's second marriage was a big event. Fancy hotel, famous guests, expensive decorations. Every newspaper in the city had talked about it. Everyone who mattered would be there. Naomi had helped make that possible. Years ago, she gave up part of her own dreams so Vanessa could go to law school. She spent long nights watching Vanessa's textbooks spread across the living room floor while Naomi babysat Vanessa's son at the time. She had worked extra shifts to help pay bills, using money she could have saved for herself. And now her sister was saying Naomi's kids did not fit the tone. Naomi swallowed. She read the message again, hoping she misunderstood, hoping Vanessa meant something else. But the truth sat there on the screen like ice. Her chest burned with humiliation. Vanessa did not even bother to call. Just a single text. Eli looked up from the table. "Mom? Why do you look sad?" Naomi forced a smile. "I'm fine," she whispered. But she wasn't fine. She thought about all the times Vanessa told people Naomi was too emotional, too soft, too ordinary. Naomi had spent years being the sister who stayed quiet, who kept the peace, who made room for everyone else. She was always the one who made changes, moving holidays, changing her schedule, giving up opportunities, because Vanessa needed something. Naomi had never complained. But this time the pain went deeper. It wasn't just about her. It was about her children. She imagined telling them they couldn't go to their aunt's wedding. She imagined their faces falling. She imagined Eli asking, "Why doesn't she want us?" Naomi's stomach twisted. She looked at the clock. Only hours left until the ceremony. Vanessa knew Naomi had already bought clothes for the wedding. She knew the kids were excited. She knew this would hurt. And she did it anyway. Naomi's hands shook. She whispered softly, almost to herself, "She really thinks she can do anything and I'll just accept it." She closed her eyes, remembering childhood moments. Vanessa taking the bigger bedroom, getting new clothes while Naomi wore hand-me-downs. Vanessa being praised while Naomi was told to be patient and understand. That same pattern had followed them into adulthood. Naomi took a slow breath. "I've let her do this my whole life," she whispered, voice breaking. "But not to my kids." She looked at her phone one last time, then set it down slowly. Something inside her shifted, something she had buried for years. She walked to her room and opened the drawer where she kept old papers, old memories, old truths she had been too afraid to use. If Vanessa wanted a wedding without Naomi's children, fine. But Naomi wasn't staying home. She was going to the venue, not to watch the wedding, not to celebrate, but to finally face something she should have faced long ago. Tonight, Naomi wasn't going to be silent. Tonight, Naomi was going to be seen. Single mother, works in healthcare administration. That is how Naomi Carter describes herself when people ask who she is. Her life has never been simple or glamorous, but it has been honest. She wakes up early every morning, packs school lunches, prepares cereal bowls, ties shoelaces, and then rushes to the hospital office where she works long hours to support her family. She loves her job because it gives her a steady income, even though it never gives her much time for herself. Naomi is divorced. Her marriage ended after she discovered her ex-husband had been secretly taking money from their shared accounts. He used her trust against her. When she found out, she felt her world fall apart. She thought marriage meant partnership, honesty, and love. Instead, she learned it could mean betrayal. The divorce was painful, especially because she had to explain it to her children in soft words, protecting them from adult truths. The years after that were hard. Naomi cried at night sometimes, quietly, when the children were asleep. But every morning she stood up again because she had two reasons to keep going. Eli and Maya. Her children are her strength. They are also her weakness, because she loves them so deeply that any hurt directed toward them cuts through her soul. Naomi has always been emotionally strong, but she carries wounds from her past, especially wounds created inside her own family. Since childhood, Naomi lived in her older sister Vanessa's shadow. Vanessa was the pretty one, the talented one, the favorite child. Family members talked about Vanessa's future like she was destined for greatness. Naomi was told to be patient, to understand, to take care of things quietly. Naomi grew up believing she should shrink herself so Vanessa could shine. That dynamic continued into adulthood. Naomi once paused her college education so Vanessa could finish law school. Naomi worked part-time and babysat Vanessa's child, helped pay Vanessa's rent, and even managed Vanessa's paperwork. Naomi did all of this without complaint. She believed helping her sister was the right thing to do. She believed family meant sacrifice. Vanessa never returned the kindness. Not emotionally, not financially, not even with simple gratitude. Their parents passed away years later, leaving behind a small inheritance and property. There was no official legal division at first, so Vanessa naturally took control. She made decisions. She influenced relatives. She explained everything in complicated legal language Naomi could not argue against. Since Vanessa was a lawyer, Naomi assumed she knew best. Piece by piece, Vanessa shaped the family story around herself. Naomi learned to accept whatever she was told. Over time, Naomi's quiet acceptance became a habit. Vanessa used phrases like class, standards, and image whenever she wanted control. She spoke softly but sharply, making Naomi feel guilty for wanting fairness. If Naomi asked a question about money, Vanessa made her feel like she lacked intelligence. If Naomi wanted emotional respect, Vanessa accused her of being dramatic. With enough years, Naomi began to believe these labels. She told herself she was simple. She told herself Vanessa deserved more. She told herself keeping peace was better than arguing. Now the wedding. Vanessa's second marriage is not just a family event. It is a city event. Judges, attorneys, wealthy families, business owners, political guests, all are attending. Every newspaper and society column has been talking about the ceremony. Pictures of the venue are already on social media. Vanessa has spent months planning every small detail to make sure nothing looks ordinary. She wants perfection, elegance, and status. Her fiancé, Mark Reynolds, is a real estate attorney. He cares about appearances more than anything else. He likes deals, power, and connection. Vanessa calls him charming. Naomi sees a man obsessed with reputation. Eli and Maya have met Vanessa many times. They have hugged her, drawn pictures for her, helped set tables at family dinners, and listened to her stories. They know her voice, her perfume, her smile. They believed they mattered to her. That is why the wedding message felt like a slap. It was not a normal child-free rule. If Vanessa truly did not want children at the wedding, she could have said it months before. She could have spoken kindly. She could have shown love. Instead, she waited until the morning of the wedding to remove Naomi's children from the event. The choice was clear. It was meant to hurt. To Naomi, it feels personal. Not a decision about peace or silence in the ceremony, but a decision to show Naomi her place, below Vanessa. Less important. Less worthy. Inside Naomi, something is breaking apart. She remembers every sacrifice she made for Vanessa. She remembers every time she stayed quiet to protect the family image. She remembers crying in private so no one else would feel uncomfortable. Now she is tired. What's at stake is more than an invitation. It is Naomi's dignity. She wants her children to know they are important even if their aunt says they are not. She wants them to grow up believing they matter. She knows that if she accepts this insult quietly, her children will learn to accept disrespect too. It is also about Naomi finally allowing herself to feel anger after years of silence. The resentment she pushed deep inside her heart is rising. She does not want revenge. She simply wants fairness. She wants to stand equal beside her sister for once in her life. This wedding night might not just be Vanessa's celebration. It might be Naomi's turning point. Naomi calls Vanessa. The call goes unanswered. The phone rings, and then drops into silence. Naomi tries again, hoping maybe Vanessa just missed it. But the call goes straight to voicemail. Her heart sinks. Vanessa read her text earlier, So Naomi knows the phone is in her hand. Vanessa is choosing not to speak to her. Naomi stands in her bedroom staring at her phone screen. She feels angry, confused, hurt, and embarrassed all at once. She takes a deep breath and writes a message. Simple, polite, and controlled. Vanessa, I just want to understand why my children can't come. Please explain. She reads it 3 times before sending. She avoids blaming words or angry lines. She wants to be clear. She wants to be calm for her kids. Minutes pass. Naomi waits in silence. Her children are in the living room drawing wedding cards they made for their aunt. They are talking excitedly about wedding cake and fancy clothes. Naomi hears their giggles from the hallway. It makes her chest tighten. Then her phone buzzes. Not a call. Not a text. Voice notes. Several. Naomi plugs in her earphones and hits play. Vanessa's voice comes through smooth and confident, but the tone is sharp, fake gentle. Naomi, this is a child-free wedding. It's just how things are done. I don't want the event disrupted. Another note. You know how kids are. Running around making noise. It's not the right appearance. A third note. We want an adult ambience. Mature. Elegant. Naomi listens to the notes, heart beating faster with each word. She can hear judgment between every line. It isn't about the children running around, it's about image. Status. Superiority. Naomi remembers bringing her kids to family events before. They were never wild, never loud. Vanessa had hugged them for photos many times. So why now? Another note plays. This time Vanessa doesn't sound polite. She sounds annoyed. Naomi, you shouldn't make this a big deal. Not everything has to revolve around your kids. Naomi freezes. That sentence feels like a knife pushed straight into her chest. She whispers the words under her breath, replaying them. Not everything has to revolve around your kids. It was not about wedding rules. It was about putting Naomi in her place. She suddenly understands something painful. Vanessa does not see her children as family. She sees them as extra weight, as a problem, as a reason to push Naomi down. And worse, Vanessa thinks Naomi should simply accept that. Naomi feels her throat tighten. Tears fill her eyes, but she refuses to let them fall. She stands up straighter. This is the moment everything changes. Until now, Naomi has always avoided conflict with her sister. She always chose peace over pride. She always gave Vanessa the benefit of the doubt. But this line breaks something inside her. Naomi looks at the old file box beside her dresser. Inside are documents she has kept for years. Inheritance papers, property agreements, accounts, letters, numbers Vanessa doesn't know Naomi still has. She touches the box, remembering the lawyer who once told her she should protect her rights. She never used these papers because she didn't want drama. She didn't want to start a war. She wanted to keep a family. But Vanessa had already torn that family apart. Naomi wipes her face, breath steadying. I'm going to the venue, she whispers to herself. Not as a guest, not to watch the wedding, but to look her sister in the eyes and say the words she has swallowed for years. Naomi picks up the file of papers, tucks them into her bag, and stands tall for the first time in a long time. Her children ask if they should finish their wedding drawings. She gently nods and smiles at them, not trusting her voice to speak. Inside her chest, something important shifts. She realizes she has spent her whole life letting Vanessa decide who she was allowed to be. She has accepted disrespect. She has ignored insults. She has let love blind her to truth. Not anymore. The wedding exclusion is not just a rule. It is Vanessa telling Naomi her children are less valuable than strangers invited to that ballroom. Naomi will not allow that message to stay unchallenged. She grabs her car keys. The sky outside is turning orange. The wedding starts soon. Her hands shake, not from fear, but from strength. Naomi steps out into the evening air knowing one thing clearly. Tonight she will no longer be silent. Tonight she will choose herself and her children. Even if it means breaking the world, she always tried to hold together. Naomi arrives early, unnoticed at first. The parking lot is almost empty, and the sun has not fully set yet. She can see lights glowing through the tall glass windows of the wedding venue. The building looks huge and beautiful, decorated with roses and golden ribbons. It should have been a happy place, but Naomi feels a knot in her stomach as she walks toward the entrance. She steps inside quietly, holding her bag close to her body. The sounds of laughter, Heels clicking, and staff rushing fill the hallway. Nobody turns to look at her. Nobody greets her. It feels strange, like she is invisible in a place where she is supposed to belong. She walks slowly toward a corner near the dressing area. That is when she hears voices. A group of bridesmaids stand together near a mirror, fixing their makeup. Their dresses are long and sparkly, their hair styled perfectly. Naomi stops walking when she hears one of them whisper loudly, "I'm glad she said no kids. They ruin the whole aesthetic. You can't take nice pictures with children running around." Another bridesmaid giggles. Especially those kids. They're always sticky and loud. They laugh. Naomi squeezes her bait tighter. Her heart drops to her stomach. Her children are not sticky and loud. They are kind, gentle, and sweet. But these women don't know them. They are laughing like Naomi's children are some kind of dirt, something embarrassing to be hidden away from beautiful things. Naomi feels heat burn behind her eyes, but she forces herself to breathe. She tells herself not to react. Not yet. She turns to the hallway again, hoping to find someone who will speak to her kindly. But as she walks, she sees two older family members look at her from a distance, then quickly turn away. They pretend not to notice her. They whisper to each other and walk in the opposite direction. Naomi feels herself shrinking. She used to know these people. She grew up laughing with them at Christmas dinners. Now they act like she has trouble walking on 2 feet. She steps into the main lobby and sees Vanessa's aunt, Clara, walking toward her. Naomi feels a tiny bit of hope. Maybe someone in this family will stand by her. But the moment Clara reaches her, she puts her hand on Naomi's arm and speaks in a soft, warning voice. "Naomi, sweetheart, please don't cause drama tonight." Naomi blinks. "I'm not causing drama. I just want to talk to Vanessa." Clara sighs loudly, like Naomi is already guilty. This is Vanessa's big day. She has so much pressure. Let her have peace. Please don't ruin this. Naomi stares at her. She feels her chest tighten. Ruin this? She wants to scream. She ruined my children's hearts, but instead she nods stiffly. Old family patterns rise instantly. Naomi being told to stay calm, stay quiet, be polite, be understanding. Exactly like when they were children. Naomi always had to bend. Vanessa always stood tall. Naomi feels the weight of those years pressing on her shoulders. She walks away from Clara slowly. The hallway feels colder now. Just then someone calls out, "Oh, Naomi." She turns and sees a woman smiling warmly. It's Mark's sister, Jenna. Naomi forces a small smile back. She barely knows Jenna, but she looks happy to see her. "You came early," Jenna says, friendly and open. "I guess Vanessa told you about the change last minute. Must have been stressful." Naomi freezes. "Change?" Jenna continues without thinking, her voice casual. "Vanessa told the family you depend on her money sometimes. She said the kids wouldn't behave, so it was better to avoid issues. She's under a lot of pressure. You understand, right?" Naomi's heart stops. Depend on her money? Vanessa told people that? Naomi feels heat rise from her stomach to her face. She tries to keep her voice steady. "I don't depend on Vanessa financially." Jenna shrugs innocently. "Oh, maybe she exaggerated. She said you struggle a lot since the divorce. And she said you can't really control your kids. She wanted to avoid embarrassment." Embarrassment. That word feels heavier than all the others. Naomi smiles politely and excuses herself, but inside she is shaking. She walks toward an empty hallway near the staff corridor and leans against the wall. She closes her eyes and lets the truth settle in. Vanessa has been mocking her behind her back. Vanessa has used Naomi's pain as a story to make herself look strong. Vanessa has told people that Naomi is weak, poor, unstable, dependent, and that Naomi's children are wild and embarrassing. Naomi remembers something. Years ago, when Vanessa graduated from law school, she thanked everyone on stage, teachers, classmates, friends, but not Naomi. Naomi had paid the rent then. She had worked extra shifts. She had skipped classes. Vanessa never mentioned it. Then there was the time Naomi threw Vanessa a surprise birthday party, but Vanessa told everyone she planned it herself. Or the time Naomi bought groceries for Vanessa for 6 months, but Vanessa later said she did it all alone. Piece by piece, Vanessa had built her success on Naomi's sacrifices, and then erased Naomi from the story. Naomi opens her eyes. She looks at the lights hanging from the ceiling. She feels something painful and strong inside her chest, a sadness that turns slowly into anger. She whispers to herself, "How much of my life did I lose because I stayed quiet?" She thinks of Eli and Maya. She thinks of them sitting at home, waiting for news, believing their aunt loves them. Naomi feels a wave of guilt wash over her. For years she taught her children to be gentle, kind, forgiving. But maybe she also taught them to accept disrespect. For a moment, Naomi thinks about leaving quietly, walking out the door, going home, pretending this night never happened. She imagines telling her children, "It's okay. Let it go." But then she sees their faces in her mind. Eli asking what he did wrong. Maya wondering why she wasn't pretty enough or good enough to be included. And suddenly, leaving becomes impossible. Naomi realizes something powerful. If she leaves silently, she teaches her children to stay silent when people hurt them. If she walks away, she shows them that unfairness is normal. Naomi lifts her chin. Her hands stop shaking. She came here for a reason. This is not just about a wedding or an invitation. It is about her entire life. It is about standing up. It is about saying, "Enough." Naomi steps away from the wall. The wedding music outside grows louder. The guests are starting to arrive. Soon, Vanessa will walk in wearing her perfect dress. And Naomi will be ready. Naomi stood outside the private lounge, only minutes before the wedding ceremony was meant to start. From the hallway, she could hear music and laughter, the excited voices of guests finding their seats. But inside this room, everything felt quiet and tense. She took a deep breath, opened the door and stepped inside. Vanessa was alone, facing the mirror. She looked perfect, hair pinned in diamonds, veil flowing, lips painted a soft rose. When she saw Naomi in the reflection, her shoulders stiffened. She did not smile. "What are you doing in here?" Vanessa asked, her voice sharp, full of authority. "You shouldn't be backstage." Naomi closed the door gently behind her. There was no anger in her movements, no panic. She stood calm, straight, and confident. "We need to talk," she said quietly. "No," Vanessa snapped. "I don't want drama today. Leave." Naomi looked directly at her sister. "You don't get to decide my children's worth." Vanessa froze. Her painted smile disappeared. "What are you talking about?" she demanded. "You told my kids they weren't welcome," Naomi said, voice steady. "You said they would ruin the photos. You told them they were embarrassing, messy, loud." "I never said that," Vanessa shouted, turning around fully now. Her veil shook with the movement. "You did," Naomi answered. And they heard every word. For a moment, the room went quiet. The only sound was wedding music echoing through the walls. Vanessa crossed her arms. "This is my wedding, Naomi. I get to choose how things look. I want a clean family picture. No chaos. No noise." Naomi blinked slowly. "They are children. They are my children. And you humiliated them." "So," Vanessa scoffed, "your kids are not my responsibility. They are not my problem. And you always act like the world must treat them special." Naomi breathed deeply. "They just wanted to see their aunt get married." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "You should have come without them. I warned you. Do not blame me for your bad choices." Naomi did not raise her voice. She simply said, "No. The bad choice was yours." Vanessa laughed bitterly. "What are you going to do? Cry? Make a scene? You always play the victim." Naomi shook her head. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to tell you the truth." She paused, letting the silence stretch. Vanessa leaned closer, suspicious. "What truth?" she demanded. Naomi looked into her sister's eyes. "The wedding venue deposit? The designer dress? The caterers?" Vanessa blinked. "I paid for everything." "Obviously." "No," Naomi said softly. "You didn't." Confusion filled Vanessa's face. "What are you talking about?" Naomi took a breath. "The money came from the family trust. So, Naomi continued. "I never signed my portion over." Vanessa went pale. "That trust still legally belongs to both of us," Naomi explained. "Half mine, half yours." Vanessa's mouth opened, but no words came out. "You told everyone the trust was yours," Naomi said. "You told Mark you paid for this wedding alone. But I checked the records. Half the money used for this wedding belongs to me." Vanessa shook her head violently. "No, that can't be true." I signed something. Mom told me, Dad. No. Naomi repeated. You assumed I transferred ownership when I left town. But I never did. Vanessa stumbled backward like the air had been punched out of her lungs. That means, Naomi said calmly, I still control the funds. Vanessa's breathing grew sharp and uneven. You wouldn't dare take it back. Naomi's voice remained peaceful. I could shut everything down right now. The vendors, the venue, the photographers, all of it. The trust gives me that power today. Vanessa's mask shattered. You evil woman, she screamed. You planned this. You waited until today to ruin my life. No. Naomi replied softly. You ruined it when you hurt my children. Vanessa reached for her, voice breaking. Naomi, please don't do this to me. Please don't embarrass me today. The door behind them opened. Mark stepped inside. He looked confused at first, until he heard Vanessa crying and Naomi standing firm. What is going on? He asked. Vanessa reached toward him. Mark, she's trying to destroy everything. She's jealous and bitter, Anne. Naomi didn't look at him. She only spoke the truth, calmly and clearly. The wedding is funded with money from our family trust. Money she lied about. Mark's face changed. His eyes widened with shock, then pain, then realization. You told me your parents left everything to you, he whispered to Vanessa. You said Naomi took nothing. Vanessa stuttered. I said that because... Mark's voice broke. You lied about your own sister? Vanessa's mouth trembled. Naomi stepped away from them both. I didn't come here to take anything, she said. I came to protect my kids. Vanessa sobbed. Naomi, wait, don't walk out, please, we can talk. Naomi looked at her sister one last time. Her voice soft but powerful. I chose my children. Then she turned, opened the door and walked out. Behind her came shouting, crying, panic, and crashing footsteps. But Naomi did not look back. For the first time all day, she felt free. She walked toward her children waiting outside, knowing she had finally put them first, no matter who she had to stand against. The ceremony stopped. Guests whispered, looking around, confused and curious. The perfect image Vanessa worked so hard to create began to crack. Her calm, polished smile seemed fake as the truth of Naomi's actions spread quietly through the crowd. Naomi didn't stay to watch. She walked out with her kids, holding their hands gently. They piled into the car, excited for a small weekend trip she had planned. On the way, Naomi explained softly, sometimes adults make hurtful choices, but we can set boundaries. We protect ourselves and each other. Her children listened, nodding. They felt safe, seen, and loved. Over the next few days, Naomi took steps to protect her family and herself. She contacted a lawyer to formally separate her share of the family trust from Vanessa. She booked therapy to heal old wounds. She started writing her story, shaping it on her terms, not Vanessa's. Vanessa's wedding eventually continued, but it wasn't the same. Guests noticed tension. Smiles were forced. The control Vanessa always thought she had over Naomi was gone, and that loss stung her more than anything else. Naomi, on the other hand, finally felt free. She had reclaimed her life, her children, and her peace. Weeks later, Naomi attends her son's school event. The small auditorium is filled with parents and children. Bright drawings hang on the walls. Naomi sits in the front row, smiling proudly as Eli reads his project to the class. Maya sits beside her, clapping happily for her brother. The children look confident, safe, and loved. There is no tension in their eyes, no fear of being unwanted. Naomi feels something warm inside her chest, peace she hasn't felt in years. After the event, parents walk up to her. They praise Eli's work. They compliment Maya's kindness. Naomi thanks them with a soft, grateful smile. Her life feels simple, steady, and real. As she helps her kids pack their bags, her phone vibrates. It's a message from Vanessa. The text is short. I'm sorry for how things went. I didn't mean to hurt you. Naomi reads it slowly. The words feel empty, like an apology without truth behind it. She doesn't reply. She simply locks her phone and looks at her children instead. Elle longe loudly. Maya grabs her hand. In that moment, Naomi understands something powerful. Being chosen begins with choosing yourself. And she finally has. Ibastis. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Love you, bye.